Peace and blessings, everyone. I pray that everyone is doing well. It is January 6th, 2023. Um, and I'm going live real quick. One of the reasons why I'm going live right now, because I want to document a situation that I just experienced, and more importantly, um, share with you all some of the daily struggles of what it means to be Black in America. All right. Um, so give me 1 second. So I'm gonna explain to y'all what happened. Um, and then I'm gonna give a little bit of context. And more importantly, by the end of it, you'll hear me talk about solutions. Okay. So anytime that we jump on social media, um, I'm really big on, if we're going to identify a problem, we also are going to identify solutions to the problem. Okay. Because I think everybody can identify problems all day long. But the question is, do you have any solutions? Are you offering any solutions to the problems? Right. So I will offer some solutions to some of these scenarios that I'm going to explain to y'all. All right. So, oh, that's not it. Hold on, y'all. So one of the things that I wanted to share with y'all is that um, I went to the bank today. And I went to the bank after receiving a check to make a deposit for the nonprofit. Okay. And while I was at the bank, um, when I pulled up to the bank, give me 1 second, y'all. Just making sure people can tap in if they choose to. Okay. So I've been banking at the Oregonians Credit Union since probably 2000, maybe 2009, 2010. All right. I have both of my businesses there. Okay. And I even had, at one point, I had a personal savings account there. Okay. So that's been my bank for many years. Matter of fact, I think I banked there back in 2007 and 8 when I actually worked at the Oregonian newspaper. They're not affiliated. They're just called the Oregonian Credit Union and then the Oregonian newspaper. So I think I opened my first account when I worked at the Oregonian newspaper, which was like 2006, 7, or 8. All right. We'll go 2008. So I've been there for a while, y'all. Okay. That's the point. I've been there for a while. The branch that I go to is on Sandy. And then for the last 5 years, I've also been going to the branch here in Gresham. So I pull up to the bank today and I'm on the phone with my earbud in. And as you all know, most banks either have a rule about being on the cell phone when you come into the bank, or, they just don't want you on the phone, right? And how many of you want to be inside of a bank and somebody's just having a full-on conversation in the bank, right? No. So I pull up to the bank and I'm on the phone. So I pull into the parking lot and I'm going to take 20 minutes to finish up my conversation. I'm having a great conversation. So instead of sitting in my car on a conversation, I decide to get out the car. Now, whether you know me or not, I have been found to talk outside on my phone with the earbuds in. So when you pull into the parking lot, it's kind of a small parking lot that has maybe 8 initial parking spots, and then you can go around the corner and go into the drive-through teller, right? So I pull up and I get out the car and I go on the front of my car, because there's a sidewalk. So I'm pretty much there. I'm at my car. I'm talking, probably using hand gestures, whatever. I'm animated, having a great conversation. I'm also aware of my surroundings while I'm out there. And so I've noticed as in the time that I was out there for 20 minutes, there were 2 customers that came in. One guy was a white guy in a truck. He pulled in. When he walked back out of the bank, he kind of gave me some eye contact, right? It was all good though. It wasn't nothing outrageous. The second guy pulled into the parking lot, sees that I'm on the phone. When he came out of the bank, he smiled at me. I smiled back. At this point, I'm wrapping up my conversation, right? So I walk towards the door but I'm still on the phone. So I wait and there's a bike rack. So I sit kind of on the bike rack. It's like a half circle. So I sit on the bike rack and I'm, again, getting ready to finish my conversation. So I'm sitting on the bike rack and this lady comes out of the bank. And her words are you waiting for a ride? Now, mind you, I'm talking. So as she comes out, she didn't say, excuse me. She just says, are you waiting for a ride? And I said, excuse me. She goes, are you waiting for a ride? I said, no, I'm getting ready to come into the bank to deposit a check. Oh, well, and I said, is there a problem? So I said, no, I'm getting ready to go into the bank to deposit a check. Is there a problem? Well, it's just a red flag. I said, what's a red flag? Well, just you in the parking lot, it's a red flag. But okay, you're going to come in? Okay, so she goes in. Now, mind you, I'm on the phone and the person on the other end hears all this. And it's like, did she really just ask you if you're waiting for a ride? And did she really just say it's a red flag? So I'm like, this is crazy. This cannot be real. But it is real. Banking while Black. So I get off the phone. I said, let me go in and have this conversation. And I'm so thankful that the person I was speaking to, you know who you are, gave me the courage to speak up. I'm going to come back to that. So I go into the bank, and usually, like typical, every teller greets you. There's nobody in the bank. There's no customers in the bank. So they all, hey, how are you? I'm so hot that I don't even speak back. And that's not even me. I usually at least give you a salutation. I don't say a word. And I look at the teller. So I look at a familiar face who I know knows me. So I walk over to her and I said, is your manager here? And then when I look to the right, I realize the lady that came to talk to me who's in the office has to be the manager. She goes, oh, that's her. And I said, okay, great. I said, can I talk to her? She said, oh, let me double check, see if she's available. What's your name? I said, my name doesn't matter. I'm the same lady she just talked to 30 seconds ago. I need to follow up with the conversation that she had. So she goes, gets her. She comes out. And she's like, as if she's going to have the conversation in the lobby. And I said, you probably don't want to have this conversation out in the open. Can we go into your office? Oh, well, I have some confidential files that I may need to. Great. Put your confidential files away because we need to have this conversation. So she goes to her office. She puts them away. And mind y'all, I'm hot. I'm so hot. So I go in. I said, what's your name? She gives me her name. I said, my name is Imani. I extend my hand. I said, I need you to understand the impact of what just happened. I said, I firmly believe that had I been a white person, you would not have confronted me or even addressed me in the way that you did. Oh, yes, I would have. Yes, I would have. Right, is what she says. I said, no, you wouldn't have. I said, the fact that you asked me, was I waiting for a ride? I like all of your questions to me don't even add up. Well, people felt threatened. If I had like some sound effects, that's where the sound effects would go. Soon as you hear a white person say they feel threatened by a Black person's appearance, said behavior, profile, whatever that's when the head should turn. Okay. So she says, somebody felt threatened or threatened. I said, threatened about what? Well, we're trained. Now she wants to roll into the bank training as if I haven't been trained in security damn near my whole life. But okay, we're trained to look for things. I said, ma'am, I understand all that. I said, what you need to understand is that the way you address me I know you wouldn't have come at me had I been a white person. I said, and when you stepped outside, you would have heard me on the phone. You would have saw the earbud. So therein lies the answers to whatever I'm doing in the parking lot. I said, I drove into the parking lot. I got out of my car. I said, I'm finishing up a conversation. I chose not to come into the bank because you all don't want people on their phones inside of the bank. I'm not quite sure how my behavior was a threat to anyone. Well, we have to prevent robberies. So now I look like I'm about to rob y'all? Okay. So then she proceeds to apologize, right? The classic, well, I'm sorry you were offended. I'm sorry that's how you took it. I said, lady, let me tell you something. I said, this is bigger than me. I said, you're a manager and you're going to be dealing with people every single day of your life. And so I would highly encourage you to not assume the worst in people. Okay. The fact that you assumed that I was waiting for a ride and not doing business is a problem. The fact that you assumed that my behavior was red flag. So therein lies the problem. I done moved past me because I can get past me. You thought because of who I looked like that I could only be waiting for a ride or being a red flag, casing the joint to rob the bank. That's the problem, lady. That you, as a white woman, didn't think the best of me. That you thought that if I'm pacing in the parking lot, that it has to be a threat as opposed to maybe she's finishing up a phone call and maybe she's coming in to do bank business. I told her how much the check was that I had. It wasn't no $5 check. I'm depositing an organizational check from a grant. Y'all can do the math and the assumption of how much that money was. How dare you assume that I couldn't be coming into your bank, that my money is sitting in, that you're collecting interest on every year and day, that you couldn't assume that I was coming in to do business? How dare you? And shame on you. Shame on you that whoever felt threatened, which was her, but whoever came to you supposedly about my behavior, that you didn't have enough wit, wisdom, and consciousness to look at your surroundings. This is what I told her. I said, you got to be better and be more observant. Had you been observant, you would have saw that I was on my phone. Therein, the conversation's over. There's no threat happening. So after all that, y'all, she, I'm so sorry. Or I'm sorry you feel this way. That was her whole thing. I'm just sorry you feel this way. I said, that's fine. I said, but it's beyond me. You need to do better with your assumptions about people. And I said, because somebody else is going to come into this parking lot and it may be me again. And I may stand in the parking lot finishing up my phone call. And I would hope that you don't ever assume that somebody's waiting for a ride or that it's a red flag. And well, I didn't call you a red flag. Girl, we're not playing semantics today. You call my behavior or me a red flag. My behavior standing in a damn parking lot was a threat. So this is why banking while black is important. Because we can't even bank nowadays, y'all, without somebody assuming that you're a threat because you stand in the parking lot for 20 minutes because I have the right to do that. And now I'm a threat. So after I finished with said banker lady, manager, then I forgot her name. Her name went out of my head because I'm just done with her. I went and deposited the check, split 50-50, half in the checking, half in the savings of the business account that I've been doing business for and with for umpteen years. And I got my receipt and I walked out. This is the same bank, y'all. And I'm documenting this because I'm getting ready to send an email and a letter to whoever owns it, branch managers and all. But I'm going to also send them a link to this so that they can see and hear what actually happened, because they're going to get a version and that's fine. But I need them to know the impact that it has on Black and brown and indigenous people when we are profiled in a way that is less than, right? You couldn't settle on the best part of me. You had to settle on the robbery, the red flags, and waiting for a ride. This is the same bank that, mind you, I'm asking for a credit card because we got a building, right? And I'm asking for a credit card so that I can pay large amounts of bills or purchase large amounts of items to furnish our center. And the amount that I asked for, the account itself has 10 times, 10 plus the amount that I asked for. So I'm not asking for a $50,000 credit card. I'm asking for a very minimal credit card, a couple thousand, just for us to be able to make purchases to furnish our center and pay the bills consistently, automatically, on time, right? I applied in September or October. I'll give them some grace. I'll say October. Met with the bankers, did it online. They told me, oh, it'd be so easy, just do it online. Did it online, sent them the budget, all that. Then it went radio silent. Didn't hear from them. Something told me to reach out when I went to the bank in December. I said, hey, whatever happened? You all have my financials. Hell, you have my account, so you can look into the dang bank account and see how the transactions are flowing. But you also have my budget. You also have all this other information that I feel is unnecessary, because if you are the bank that sees my account, I don't know what else I got to prove to you, but whatever. I did all that and you ain't said nothing to me. So then I get a phone call. I get an apology. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you did get approved, but we just never circle back with you. So now at the end of December, I get notified via phone call after talking to them in the bank that we got approved for the credit card. Still don't have the credit card. So it takes 4 months to get a little old couple $1,000 credit card at a bank that I've been depositing money into consistently. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I get that some banks are smaller than others. I get that some credit unions have some outdated systems. All of that I am with, I support, I get it. What I can't reconcile with and what I can't accept is the nonchalant attitude and behavior, and sometimes, like today, an actual profiling taking place. And you want to say it's something else. I don't know how I can't look at race when things like this happen, right? And I don't want to hear, well, we have black staff or we have brown staff. This is not the issue. You could hire anybody. We ain't talking about what looks like and who you hire. We talking about a mindset and a profiling and some unconscious bias that y'all got to work through. There's no reason on this planet other than race rooted, hear me out. There's no reason on this planet for someone to drive to a bank in a bright colored car, decide to get out of their car, clearly visible, AirPods, whatever y'all want to call them, Apple Pods, in your ear, talking, smiling, laughing, having the phone in your hand. None of that behavior should ever translate to being a threat, a red flag, or potential motivated behavior that could lead to a robbery. None of that, y'all. And it's sad. One, it's sad that we think of this. We think of people in our community that could be doing that. And two, it's sad that you typically do those type of profilings when it comes to Black, brown, and indigenous people. And the cold part about this is how I know I'm accurate. One, I know. Two, I'm on the phone at this time of when this played out with a Caucasian white woman who knew exactly what was happening, called it before I could even speak it, knew that I was being profiled before I can even make sense of what happened. She knew exactly what her cousin did. So I say this, y'all, and I document this because here's the lesson for me. And this is why I know me. I typically have these experiences sometimes and I don't say anything. Or if I do say something, I'm rude to the person that shouldn't receive the rudeness, right? My old self, literally my old self, as in like yesterday, I would have walked right into the bank. I would have gave a cold shoulder to the teller who had nothing to do with the interaction. And I probably would have said something to her like, yo, the way she talked to me was crazy. I probably would have said it to her and she ain't got nothing to do with it. So there's a little bit of a growth piece for me. And I appreciate my own growth in confronting BS when I see it. Because as much anxiety as I had, as uncomfortable as that experience was for me, not only to receive those words from her, but also the uncomfortableness of me addressing it in her office, right? Had my anxiety on 10, but I did it. And I did it, you know why I did it? I did it for the next person that she has to interact with. I did it for that little inner child in me that knows that behavior was so wrong. I did it because I went from depositing $5 into a bank account to depositing grants, checks. I did it because I've watched my own nonprofit grow from an idea to a thriving business with actual employees and staff. That's why I confronted her. So I did it for much bigger than me. And that's what I told her. Lady, this is not even about me in this moment. This is about you checking your stuff and making sure that you don't ever think less of a person because of your own bias and your assumptions. Don't ever assume that I'm waiting for a ride. Don't. Don't ever assume that I'm not coming into your bank and withdrawing all of my money out in the near future. Don't assume that I couldn't do that. Don't assume that I'm not coming into your bank to open up another bank account for another 15-year-old who may want to start their business. Stop assuming that people are threats when all they're doing is standing in your damn parking lot. And I wasn't even in the parking lot. I was on the sidewalk next to the parking lot on the phone. So again, this goes out to everyone that has some unchecked biases. This goes out to anyone that ain't looked in the mirror and just thinks people are less than. This goes out to you. Stop assuming the worst in people. I don't care if you're racist. I don't care. What I do care about is that you come at me in a way that sees me at my best versus my lowest. I'm not waiting for a ride. Okay. I'm not a red flag. I'm not robbing the joint. That would be the dumbest robbery you could ever put in history. I done pulled up in my car, my license plate's there. I'm standing in front of all the cameras. You can see me. I'm wearing my business logo. Like, make it make sense, lady. And I'm coming to rob the bank. Okay. Like, it don't even make sense. All your reasons are stupid. Bottom line is, you felt threatened and you didn't know how to approach people. You need some customer service training. As I told her, there's a way to check your perimeter as if that's what you said you had to do. It's your job to keep everybody safe. Great. I know what that's like. And there's a way that you confront people when you're trying to make sure it's safe. Your first question should have been to me, hey, I'm just making sure you're okay. I would have said, yep, I'm good. I'm getting ready to come into the bank. Done. You'd be like, oh, okay, we'll see you inside. Done. End the conversation. The entire interaction goes a whole nother way. But instead, you came out thinking that I don't have no sense of belonging at your establishment, which is why you asked me, was I waiting for a ride? So Therein lies the problem, y'all. It's documented. I said it. I'm done with it. 25 minutes of it. Now I'm getting ready to go write the letter to the people. It's crazy. It's crazy. But here's the other part. This happens every single day. And so many of us do not talk about it. So many of us do not talk about it. And I know for a fact, had I walked into that bank with my father, the dynamic would have been totally different. My father's white. So if I walked in with my dad, or my dad was doing the same thing, because he actually does that often. He'll sit in the parking lot finishing up a call, or sit in his car, but he does the same thing. Many people do the same thing because they don't want to bring their conversations into that inside of an establishment. So they finish up the call on the phone outside. All right, y'all. So that is Banking While Black, the Art of Living show. This is why I titled my show The Art of Living, because this is an art of living. You gotta, when you have these scenarios, these prejudices, these unconscious biases pop up, you gotta figure out how you're gonna navigate that and how you're gonna live through it and come out on the other side with grace, mercy, and peace. So, all right, y'all. That's it. Thank y'all for tapping in. Peace.